In a world where insanity reigns supreme and safety pin manufacturers are running out of metal for the diapers of the leftists, it's comforting to know an ancient, fat, long-haired, bearded reprobate has your mind in mind. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, broadcasting behind enemy lines in occupied California, and despite every attempt by the SHR Media Network to revoke his shameless contract, we return to the bloviating Zeppelin's Berserk Bobcat Saloon.
You're listening to Late Night Radio on the SHR Media Network. Caution, there will be mature themes explored and potentially adult language used. If conservatarian words, phrases, certain concepts, or rhetoric offends you, tune out now.
Guess what day it is? Guess what day it is? Huh? Anybody? Julie, hey, guess what day it is? Oh, come on, I know you can hear me. Mike. What day is it, Mike?
Tomo, you magnificent bastard, I read your book.
I drink your milkshake.
How dare you?
I call that bold talk for a one-eyed fat man.
Fill your hand, you son of a bitch!
Captain.
Captain.
No, not yet. Don't pass out on me yet.
Terrain. Pull up.
I would remind you that extremism in the defense of liberty is no vice. And let me remind you also that moderation in the pursuit of justice is no virtue. Of course you realize this means war.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubblegum.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to BZ's Berserk Bobcat Saloon radio show, where I am broadcasting behind enemy lines in occupied California. Always spell it with a K, a mere 2 miles east of the locus of evil on the entire left coast, the Bill Mill, the belly of the beast, the Capitol building in downtown Sacramento at 10th and L Streets, where late at night you can hear the death of common sense in its concomitant wail as it wafts from that petrifying edifice. And late at night, when I exit the plush, resplendent, sumptuous, palatial, and effulgently bulbous SHR Media Network studios, I'll be smelling the odoriferous stench of sulfur, brimstone, and evil emanating from that mentally destitute columned structure aforementioned. And I want to tell you tonight, Tashay is going to be your bartendress. She pours with the best of them, and the lava lamp is, in fact, lighted to my right, your left, indicating you can listen and chat at shrmedia.com. You can watch the show on the SHR Media YouTube channel and Facebook page. Gotta tell you this, we don't water our drinks just like we don't water our conversation, politics, religion, crime, culture, economics, race, sex, science, law. We talk about it all here at the Saloon. Nothing is sacred. The speech is free, but the booze is not. All that we ask is that you flush the toilet, jiggle a handle, and don't forget to tip your waitress. Tonight, in the Saloon, in hour number 1, we have Leo DUNSON, who is a Republican candidate for Nevada's 4th Congressional District. In hour 2, we have KAISER SHUFF and KRUSZEWSKI. And they're going to be talking about Virginia, the Second Amendment, and much more. It's going to be a great show. Welcome to Mike is in chat, Kate is in chat, Jack is in chat. Thanks for being here early, folks. I really appreciate it. So tonight, we have another first for the Saloon. Never before have I interviewed a Republican candidate for United States Congress from the West Coast, this time from the 4th Congressional District of Nevada, and that would be Leo DUNSON. So, Leo DUNSON, thank you very much for taking the time to be here tonight, and welcome to the Saloon, sir.
Thank you for having me, BZ. I really appreciate it.
Do you know what? I can actually hear you. As far as I'm concerned, that is, oh my gosh, that is like the ultimate winner for me. I'm happy. Everybody is happy. So first, a little bit about Leo DUNSON. This is from his Facebook page. Leo is a political activist and a decorated Iraq war veteran. Leo graduated from the University of Nevada, Las Vegas, receiving a BA in political science. Mr. DUNSON served in the United States Army infantry, obtaining the rank of sergeant and deploying to Iraq with the 172nd Stryker Brigade. Leo DUNSON has appeared on several news media outlets to include NRA TV, CNN, Fox News, Huffington Post, Breitbart, the Associated Press, and many other news media outlets. That's quite a stellar CV, so to speak. So, Leo DUNSON, on your bio and this is where you need to go, folks. You want to go there, you want to donate, go to leodunson.com. Let me spell it for you so you get it right. Leo, L-E-O, Dunson, DUNSON.com. Very simple, very easy to go to, leodunson.com, which I find very illuminating. And what it says is, a high-ranking Republican official asked me, Leo, what have you done? So it kind of struck me as odd. I figured he was looking for the typical political solution and the typical politician answer. You know, the one where they said, I've built 3 businesses, I graduated magna cum laude, I have an 800 credit score, I've never had a mental breakdown, I have no credit card debt, and I've never even gotten a speeding ticket. Those were not my responses. I answered, I've done a lot of things. I've worked for several businesses, from the United States Army to a security guard to a nightclub promoter. I'm a veteran who struggles with PTSD. It took 5 years off and maybe some more to graduate college, working and going to school at the same time. I currently have student loan debt right now. I do not have an 800 credit score. It's closer to a very low 700. I had a foreclosure on my first home years ago, and when I was younger, I was in a few bar fights or two. He said, you don't have much leadership experience at all. Why are you running for Congress? So I explained I'm not running for Congress to lead Americans. I'm running to represent them. Everything that I outlined above and much more, many Nevadans and Americans have experienced. The average FICO score in America is 695. The average American household carries $16,000 in credit card debt. The National Institute of Mental Health estimates that 16.2 million U.S. adults had at least one major depressive PTSD episode in 2016. There is currently approximately $1.3 trillion of outstanding student loan debt in the U.S. that affects about 44 million Americans who had an average outstanding loan balance of $37,000. So ask yourself, Nevadans, who do you want voting on bills representing you related to student loans, criminal justice reform, the high cost of health care, mental health legislation, military spending, government regulations, the Second Amendment, and economic prosperity initiatives? I'm not running to preside over you, Nevada. I am not the perfect representative, but I am a perfect representation of most Americans. I've experienced the lives of most Americans. Once I'm in Congress, I will take those experiences with me. And like most Americans, I have skeletons in my closet. Like most Americans, I've been knocked down many times. I even fell to the bottom of our economic society as I was homeless for a time. However, like most Americans who believe in hard work, blood, sweat, and tears, I got back up. I'm not a perfect representative, but I am a perfect representation of the ups and downs of American life and how you can survive if you persevere. We Americans are always complaining about how Congress is so out of touch with the people. That's because we Americans keep electing people to represent us who do not represent us. It's no wonder the cost of milk keeps going up and up. It's no wonder your daughter is using the same restroom as your son. We elect candidates of the elite class all the time. This time I'm asking you to elect a man of the people. Leo DUNSON, welcome to the Saloon, and thank you for being here tonight.
Thank you, BZ. Wow, that bio read like a charm. I've actually took it down to edit it, some of the spelling errors, but you read it amazingly. Right? I said, wow, it sounds good when he did it.
I think that's what you wanted to get out there is you're a regular kind of guy, warts and all. We've all screwed up from time to time. Nobody's perfect. Only one person is, and it ain't me, and it ain't you.
Right.
So, Leo Dunson, let's flesh that out a little bit, okay? Running as a Republican candidate for the Congressional 4th District of Nevada. So let's start with Nevada right there, Leo Dunson. Where do you live in Nevada right now, and how long have you lived in Nevada?
Well, I currently live in North Las Vegas in Nevada. I've been here for about 13 years now. I love it in Nevada. I've worked in, as I mentioned in my bio, I've worked in many industries here, from the back of the houses in the casino to helping with the construction and build of the different conventions that we have, to working security, to working as a nightclub promoter. I mean, I've done it all, even a casino host. Yeah, my last recent job. So I've done, a lot of the different career paths, I guess, that most Nevadans here are used to doing. But most importantly, though I would be representing Nevada, I like to coin myself as representing the everyday average American. And I think most Nevadans can relate to the everyday average American. And that's why I went into the FICO score and the debt and student loans, because these things seem to me, in my opinion, our congressmen and women who are currently there lording over us seem to be out of touch with these different issues. So I just felt, for example, Nancy Pelosi's been in office longer than I've been born.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, and so that's why I'm a huge component of term limits. That's probably the biggest thing that I'm advocating for right off top, but I don't want to, jump ahead. But yeah, that's kind of where I am.
Okay, Leo Dunson, I want to talk about Nevada's 4th District for a moment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
One of the reasons that I wanted to have you on was that I spoke to you earlier. I'm a retiree from law enforcement. So I will tell you quite frankly and honestly up front, a ton of law enforcement personnel have had it with this state, and when they retired, they went elsewhere. And I know personally of a bunch that went to Nevada, and they're a lot happier there. And I solicited them by various websites. My guess would be they're living in Nevada and they're listening to you right now. So I went to the 4th District to find out a little bit about that. It says Nevada's 4th was created as a result of the 2010 United States Census, and it's located in the central portion of the state and includes most of like northern Clark County, southern Lyon County, and all the Esmeralda, Lincoln, Mineral, Nye, and White Pine counties. And although the district appears rural, 80% of the district's population lives in the heavily Democratic northern portion of Clark County. So as a result, the district leans Democratic at the presidential level. So you're running for what has, and correct me if I'm wrong, this has been an historically left-leaning Democrat blue area?
No. So not necessarily. I would say it's a purple area. So the first congressman to win it, the first time this district was created, it was created, I want to say in 2012, and the congressman who won it is the guy who's there currently right now, Stephen Horford, right? Okay. 2 years later, he loses it to a guy named Crescent Hardy, a Republican.
Oh.
Well, 2 years later, Crescent Hardy loses it to a Democrat named Reuben Pugh, right? And then Reuben Pugh had a, sexual scandal, he was one of the Me Too guys.
Uh-oh.
And, he was one of the Me Too guys, so he had to resign. And then Crescent Hardy, the former Republican, and Stephen Horford, who is now the current Democrat, they went head-to-head, and Stephen Horford won. So in my opinion, it's a purple district. However, you are 100% right when you say that most of the voters are in the heavily Democratic-leaning northern part of Las Vegas, which is where I live and where I'm from.
Oh, you go into Las Vegas. Your district takes a chunk out of Las Vegas.
Right, exactly.
Okay.
And it's mostly the northern side of Vegas. But the thing for me is while I'm so confident that I can win is I'm one of the only candidates who's willing to go into the minority neighborhoods and speak specifically to the minorities and win some of those votes to bring them back over to our side. That is something historically Republicans haven't done. Whereas a lot of these districts, believe it or not, for example, Stephen Horford, he beat Preston Hardy by 20,000 votes. So essentially you need about 10, 11,000 votes to win.
Okay.
Right? So that's not a hard amount to make up if you're willing to go do the work. You got the Republicans are going to vote for you, and then the Democrats are going to vote their other way. The goal is to go into the other side, go into the Democrat zones, and speak to them on why they should vote for us.
You know, I purposely go out of my way to make sure that I get black Republicans and conservatives on my show because people need to understand that conservatives can be in one big bus all together, and the paint job really doesn't matter. You are a black Republican, and I have to quote you from your, your Twitter, because I think this was brilliant. It's a pinned tweet. And you write, I got a proposal to all black people. Let's all vote Republican for a few years on the local and federal levels to see if anything changes in our communities. If things change, we'll continue to vote that way. If not, we continue to vote for Democrats, and I'll shut up. It doesn't get any plainer than that. Why not? Like Trump says, what do you got to lose? Well, let's go back to Nevada's 4th for a second.
Right.
The population of Nevada's 4th is 724,000. I looked all this stuff up. The median income is $59,000. It's almost 61% white, 31% Hispanic, about 16% black, almost 7% Asian, 2% Native American, and 14.8% of other, whatever that is they deemed to denote. So that's a pretty wide array of people.
Right.
In what some elitists might consider an insignificant portion of an insignificant state. And I say to those folks, oh, you couldn't be more wrong.
Right. And so, coming here, living here in Nevada, a lot of people move over from California, et cetera, et cetera.
Yes, they do.
Traditionally, even on the federal level, the white vote kind of splits half and half, Republican and Democrat. So if you look at that 60% and say, well, he's going to get 30% and I get 30%. Well, the Hispanics are kind of been half too. I mean, they've been about, believe it or not, they've been voting about 40% Republican. So he's probably going to get 60% of that and then 40% of the Republican. It's the black vote that's monolithically voting for the Democrat Party.
Yes.
So just how you just mentioned and said that there's 15% black. So that basically means he has a 15% head start, right? So the only way that I more than that, given that the white voters that are going to automatically vote for him and the Hispanics that are going to automatically vote for him, me being a black Republican and the proposal that I made, I believe that I have the unique ability to go into the African American community and cut that in half and get 7% of that vote. If he's going to get would normally get 15, then I believe I can get 7 and cut that in half, and he only gets 7.5. Which essentially means we win, right? I think a lot of these districts we have that ability to do, but the goal is to go in there and make them do it. See, this has happened before. President Trump in North Carolina won 35% of the black vote in 2016.
Yeah,
it's almost the most overlooked number in literally in all of presidential politics, and the Democrats, trust me, and along with the mainstream media, are petrified of that.
Oh, it is. Oh my God, Leo Dunson. It is purposefully ignored because
Right.
that's an incredible stat that a lot of people would much rather forget.
Exactly.
I want to insert this right now, and I want to make a comparison. I got another gentleman that's going to be on the show next Thursday by the name of Eric Regard. He's running for the 9th District of California's Assembly, and he's a Republican. He's a black Republican. And I'm thinking, a black Republican in California? Oh my God, mister, do you have your work cut out for you? However, I look at him and you as, I'm not considering paint jobs. I'm considering what a potential you guys have to turn things upside down and make a real dent in the almost perpetual voting for Democrats in California and in Nevada, where so many people, they want to flip that purple and then blue. What an amazing challenge you have, and what an amazing opportunity, Leo Dunson, you have.
Right. And you know what? And I'm glad you said that, BZ, because this is probably, and I hate to have the doomsday type of talk, but I believe this is probably the greatest opportunity we're ever going to have to do it too, because we have a president that we can name off multiple pieces of legislation. We have a president who's unapologetic and unafraid to engage the black community. Whereas many times in the past, at the top, they don't want to say anything really. They say, I'll just get my votes and I'll just move on, right?
Yeah.
But you got President Trump, who's not afraid to say, hey, look, Chicago, you guys are being shot left and right. Your schools are, your school institutions are, poorly ran, dilapidated housing. You see the rats and feds highlighting these different issues and saying, hey, we need change. We can provide that change. And then he has all the numbers to show the change he's created. So I think for the first time, we have a leg to stand on, is what I'm saying.
See, you are perfectly right. There's another person on SHR, Shannon and Mike in the morning. And it's Shannon Wright and Mike Wright. Well, Shannon Wright is running for Baltimore mayor very soon. And I think you hit a perfect point when you said this really is an opportunity for a lot of people to get in there and turn things around. She's a Republican. She's a black Republican, like paint jobs, but hey, leftists dragged me into identity politics so that I have to identify people by their paint job. Okay. All right. But she's a black Republican, a conservative, and she's running for Baltimore mayor. What an opportunity she's got too.
What a huge opportunity. And I believe she could win. I mean, what a huge opportunity. She can highlight all the mismanagement, look at the way it looks, the way the city looks, the crime, everything. And I mean, if the people truly won't change, and this is another thing also too, BZ, this is the first time there is like a wave of consciousness amongst us black Republicans. And I honestly have to give President Trump the 100% credit for this, because like I said, he's been unafraid to engage us. He's brought us to the White House twice now. And that's never happened. Right. And 500 of us all, a lot of us were social media people. Right. Some of us were just first time, just wanted to know more about conservatism and Trump. Many people went there who were skeptical about him, who had heard, he's a racist, and heard all that type of stuff, left there saying, wow, I can't believe it. He shook my hand. He invited, that kind of stuff. So I'm saying all this to say that I just believe we have a unique opportunity, given the level of consciousness we're currently having and the wave that we have, because for the first time, a lot of these black Democrats, I don't know if you know this, BZ, but they've never had to defend themselves against black Republicans.
Isn't that beautiful? Isn't
right?
isn't that a beautiful thing? I think it's a beautiful thing. But
it's a beautiful thing.
Here's the thing that you got to say is disappointing, though. Why I'm disappointed. Why did it take Donald John Trump, OMB, Orange Man Bad, the guy with the dead orange cat on his head? Why did it take him to reach out to various other paint jobs, including the black community, and say, you know what? I want your vote. Why haven't Republicans done the simple thing that they'll do for everyone else and just say, here's my platform. I need your vote.
Right. And it's that easy. You go to the doors just like you knock on anybody else's door with your platform, and you say, look, this is what you currently have. This is what I'm offering. It's really not rocket science, but it seems like they've been reluctant to do it, mainly because we've been able to win without having to engage these voters. Trump realized that, look, I'm a change candidate. He wasn't a politician, so he didn't do anything the way the traditional politicians did it. He came in on his own platform, his own way of thinking, and it was innovative and it's worked. I feel the same way about once I came. I consider myself a Trump Republican, even though I started being a conservative for the Obama second term. But I just think the way that he thinks innovative and thinks, we're going to go engage these people. We're going to engage this. We're going to come up with new policies, new program, prosperity for all, jobs. Those are the type of things that I'm interested in. And, that's what we're going to do as we continue on in this campaign.
Okay, you just left a big hole right there, Leo Dunson, that I'm going to fill. I got to ask you about this. Let's see. It's 8:26 on the left coast, which means it's 11:26 on the right coast, and it's 1729 and 17,000.523 subcluster 3 in Bolivian time. I could never understand Bolivian time. It's just kind of weird in and of itself. But you said you became a conservative. Mm-hmm. So we got 3 minutes, and with luck, you can explain it in 3 minutes before we go to the break. You said you became a conservative in Obama's second term. So, Leo Dunson, what happened?
Well, I was going to college then at the time, and I was studying political science. And it's funny because there's a saying that college made me liberal, but college actually made me conservative.
Ooh.
Yeah, I was in school, and it was all liberal professors, but they were telling me things that I knew weren't true. They were saying how they knew for a fact, welfare gets certain things, and I said no, it creates a cycle of dependency. I've lived through it growing up in Oakland, California.
Wow.
They were saying that immigration, illegal immigrations, most of the illegal immigrants are visa overstays, and I said, well, wait, I live here in Nevada, and I seen it turn from where the back of the house looked black and white to now it looks 100% Hispanic. I've seen the construction sites where it was black and white and there was some brown in there for sure, right? But now it's 100%, mostly undocumented workers and illegals. So I saw the changes myself personally, but in school they were teaching us something else. So I always say, believe it or not, college made me conservative, and the more I learned about the issues and the more I learned about the things that conservatives believe in, from limited government to fiscal responsibility to equal opportunities and not equal outcomes, it made me realize I'd always been conservative. I just didn't know it. So yeah,
I went backwards. Okay, I have to admit this. I'm a child of the 60s. Yeah, I'm that old. I was a major leftist in college. I actually lived in San Francisco for a while. Okay.
Wow.
I had long hair, a beard, and then 1979 and 1980 rolled around, and then I'd had some really good jobs for a while. Reagan came around, and then I went from a registered Democrat to a registered Republican, basically from that point on. So you kind of did the reversal. Folks, we're going to take a break. We're talking to Leo Dunson. He's a Republican candidate for Nevada's 4th Congressional District. When we come back, I want Leo Dunson to essentially reassure people that, you know what, he's going to do his level best to try to make sure that Nevada just doesn't become some kind of a, I don't know, like I guess Eastern California. We'll be right back.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
From a public locker inside a dilapidated Long Island rail station comes a show designed to piss off liberals using truth, facts, and ridicule. The Lid Radio Show, featuring the conservative voice from the People's Republic of New York, the Lid himself, Jeff Dunitz. Tune in every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific on the SHR Media Network. Go to shrmedia.com. At Lid Radio, we fight for the truth, justice, and a good kosher T-bone. If you don't listen, Hillary Clinton might sneak into your bedroom in her housecoat late at night and blame you for her election loss. It's the Lid Radio Show with Jeff Dunitz.
For 50 years, I've seen the American people blinded by corrupt politicians, a lapdog media, and deceptive Islam. The one thing the elites fear is one man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me through Spreaker, iTunes, and SoundCloud, through SHR Media and the Western Free Radio Network, for half a century of experienced perspective on political and social issues, weekly on The Unpleasant Blind Guy. And catch me on Jeff Mitchell's EDL Radio on blogtalkradio.com. There's
no surrender, ever.
Because truth is not always pleasant.
This is Shannon Wright of The Right Way with Shannon and Mike in the AM. Mike's not here, so I gotta talk fast. You gotta join us. Fall season. Getting ready to start up with a whole bunch of new stuff. News and food and politics and sports and entertainment and a whole bunch of stuff. But wait, Mike's coming. I gotta go. Remember, Shannon and Mike in the AM on SHR Media, Monday through Thursday, 7 to 9 a.m. Make sure you tune in.
Featuring right thinking from a left brain and doing the job the American maggots won't. BZ is fundamentally changing America, one diaper at a time. Just when safety pin manufacturers are running out of metal for the diapers of the leftists, where the speech is free, but the drinks are not. The bloviating Zeppelin's Berserk Bobcat Saloon can be heard every Tuesday and Thursday night, commencing at 11 p.m. Eastern and 8 p.m. Pacific, where pushback is a requisite art form in and of itself. Let your ossicles be truly liberated when you listen to the bloviating Zeppelin's Berserk Bobcat Saloon, only on SHR Media Network. No ferrets were harmed in the making of this ad.
Join me, Jack Alexander, for the Jack Alexander Experiment podcast, as I take a unique outsider's look at the issues affecting the USA. I fearlessly take on the issues that everyone else is too scared to touch. The Jack Alexander Experiment podcast is available wherever good podcasts can be found, like Spreaker, iHeartRadio, and Google Podcast. The Jack Alexander Experiment, because it's not a matter of left versus right, it's a matter of right versus wrong.
It's your business diva here, Melanie Collette. I am inviting you to a front row seat as I discuss some of the most intriguing details of wealth and finance with today's movers and shakers in the world of business. Listen in and discover financial truths on a global, domestic, and household scale. Uncover topics that will impact your wallet today and in the future. Money Talk with Melanie airs Monday through Friday, 5 p.m. East, 2 p.m. West, right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Talk Radio. You can't afford to miss it.
Featuring the effervescent contrarian Sackheads Clint, plus the unrestrained bulbosity of BZ, the Sackheads Against Tyranny is a real chat show. Doubling your